We're at our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're rolling out behind the magic curtain today. A 2019 Genesis G70 Turbo. Some years ago, the Koreans went overseas and hired engineers and designers from some of the best European car companies in the world. Audi, BMW, Bentley, Lamborghini, Mercedes-Benz, and gave them a free hand to design and engineer some new cars. And this is the result right here. Yes, it looks just like a BMW 3 or 4 Series from the side. A BMW 3 or 4 Series from the rear. And from the front, it looks just like that Audi A5 Sportback I tested a couple weeks ago. Here's a picture of the Audi A5 Sportback I drove 4 weeks ago. If you compare this to the picture of the Genesis G70, aside from the emblems on the front end, it's kind of hard to tell the difference. And these similarities are not a coincidence. This is designed to be a BMW and Audi killer. And they did a pretty good job, as you'll find out as this video progresses. One thing I noticed off the bat on this vehicle was the excellent build quality. Most Asian cars have a consistency of beer cans on the bodywork, but this is very solid. You notice that when you open and close the door, just from the sound, just like the old Mercedes-Benz were back in the 70s and 60s. On the negative side, I see Genesis is still using this ridiculous headless bird emblem on their vehicles, plastered inside and out. We've seen this design on so many other cars. It is not original. It really needs to go away. In fact, if you want to see other headless winged birds, here's one from the Bentley brand. Another one from Aston Martin. Another headless winged bird from Mini Cooper. A nice big wide one from Chrysler. And going full circle, this brings us back to the Genesis emblem. Yes, it's attractive, but it's nothing original, certainly. And causes a lot of confusion on the road from people who are not car experts, for obvious reasons. The base engine is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, putting out 252 horsepower. Available with an automatic transmission or a manual, for those who like to shift for themselves. If you need more power, this Turbo V6 might be for you. 365 horses, 376 foot-pounds of torque at a low 1300 RPM. Hooked to an 8-speed automatic transmission only. No manual here, but you really don't need it. If you want to shift manually, no problem. There are paddle shifters on the steering wheel to do just that. Fuel economy is rate 18 mpg in the city, 26 on the highway. That's in 2-wheel drive. If you get a 4-wheel drive, you'll lose a bit. This vehicle runs on 2 wheels, from the rear, by the way. For stopping power, you get large 13.8 front discs, 13.4 inch in the rear. And not satisfied with having the headless bird emblem all over the bodywork, somebody decided we have to have it all over the wheels. This is overkill, guys. Get rid of this. Come on. Okay, let's move into the cabin and see what we have here. And just in case you forgot what the headless bird looks like on the bodywork and the wheels, they placed one here on the steering wheel, so you'll see it 24/7 when you're driving. How thoughtful. Fortunately, there are so many positive features in this cabin. I'll ignore the emblem on the steering wheel. The quality of materials and workmanship, outstanding. Equal to anything you get from the Germans. Not the roomiest second row seating, but considering the size of the car overall, not bad at all. 2 full-size adults can fit. They didn't skimp on these seats. Not quite as comfortable as what you get on BMW, but pretty close. The large glove box has plenty of room, but only if you take out this large owner's manual box. Like so. We'll put the owner's book in the trunk where it belongs and gets out of the way. You should too. This is the way a climate control system should be designed. 3 basic knobs. You want heated seats or air conditioning seats. A few buttons. Doesn't get much easier than this. The steering wheel buttons are large enough, easy to use with gloves. We get a nice gauge cluster, lots of useful information in between the two instruments. This is the drive mode button. Gives you the choice between Smart, Eco, Comfort, Sport, or Custom. We did have a couple of minor gripes. The transmission shifter, for example. If you use the stick, you get drive, neutral, reverse, but if you want to put it in park, you have to press the button. Why? Here's the problem with this setup. Someone gets in the vehicle for the first time, pushes the lever forward, thinking it's in drive, but it's really in reverse. Car rolls back, hits something. Especially if you are in the habit of giving keys to the valets who haven't driven this before. Accidents can happen. I would like to see all vehicles have strictly push buttons and do away with the shifter, but let's do one or the other. Let's don't combine the two. Also, when the ex-BMW engineers went to work for Genesis, they decided to bring along the famous German dirt shelf, where all the nasty stuff builds up and gets on your pants. Yuck. You're going to have to keep a rag in the vehicle or paper towels to keep this clean. Once again, the reason I'm wearing my cami jammies, not a big deal, it's just the way it is. So let's take a look at the trunk and see how much room we have. Also want to see if we have a spare tire. The spec sheet says 10.5 cubic feet. Looks larger to me, but I'm just reading what it says in the manual. And yes, we do get a spare tire. Something you will not get on most German cars. By the way, if you're wondering how much this vehicle cost, I have the price sheet right here. The four-cylinder car starts around $35,000. If you want the V6 like we have here, that's what we're starting at. In this case, we had some options that we really don't need, but got anyway. So let's scroll down. There you go. If you've done your shopping, that's around 8 to 12 grand less than what you'd pay for a BMW 3 or 4 Series or now the A5. Overall, the cabin is very impressive. It definitely will match anything you get from Germany or any other European car nowadays. Someone did their homework. This ends the first half of the video where we do show and tell. The second half we're going to do some driving. We'll start by testing out these headlights as we do in all my videos. See how they perform in the dark. It's dark enough. I'll take these headlights out and see how they do. Rain or no rain. Here we have the low beams on the building 100 feet away. Unfortunately, the ground is wet. Been raining every night. Not much I can do about that. The lights are good and bright anyway. Go to high beam. Wow. Looks pretty good so far. Here we have the brights on the building 300 feet away. Good height, good spread. Go to low beam. Actually reached out. Pretty decent lights. The power steering is electric, but it does feel hydraulic with good feedback, especially if you put it in the sport mode. I think most drivers will be happy with this. As we do in all of our videos, we're going to take some speed bumps at 25 miles per hour to evaluate the suspension performance on impacts. And I will set it in comfort mode to get the best results. Here comes bump number 1. Firm, but still reasonably comfortable. Bump number 2. The tires are doing a lot of thumping, but still pretty smooth. Here comes the big nasty one. The suspension did a pretty good job of absorbing the impacts. A bit more noise than I would like, but it passed. I'm going to put this in the sport mode and take the turning circle. See if we can spin this thing out. And and I don't think we're going to be able to spin it out. This is really sticking to the pavement. We're going to have a lot of fun with this on tight curved mountain roads. When it comes to 0 to 60 mile per hour times, this vehicle has a slight disadvantage over the European competition, mainly because of the weight. This is not a lightweight vehicle, around 3,800 pounds. Also, I've noticed the engine has a tendency to lag a bit off the line, like it's not getting any fuel. Maybe it's just a characteristic of this particular car. But once it gets running, it's quick. No doubt about that. In fact, if I remember, the top speed was listed at 168 miles per hour. If you care to do that, we will not be doing that today. So let's do a couple of runs and see what happens. Yes, very quick. Nice brakes. If you want your Genesis to get a quick 0 to 60 time, you'll be glad to know there's a launch control system, according to the owner's manual. Unfortunately, the weather's so bad with wet roads, snow and rain, I just haven't been able to use it. But if you have a Genesis, read the manual and launch away. I think using launch control on some good dry pavement, we might get a 0 to 60 time of around 4.5 seconds. If I get some dry pavement before this video is over, I might give it a shot. Either way, this car is fast. Even with the traction control off, I just can't get any wheel spin, so we'll just have to run the way it is. Well, fast enough for me. For the past 50 miles, we've been driving this vehicle in heavy city traffic, doing 0 to 60 runs. So naturally, the fuel economy figures don't look too good. We're going to reset this to 0, do a highway trip, and see if we can get a better figure here. We're coming to the end of our highway trip, racking up about 100 miles. We're going to pull over and see what the fuel economy figures are. We did a lot of passing, so it might not be very good, but then you never know. But there you go, around 75 miles per hour, 25.3, pretty close to the EPA estimates. In fact, we're going to reset the mileage computer and do another freeway test. Stand by. I've noticed this Genesis has the same flaw we get on many other Korean cars. That is, when you put it in the sport mode, the top overdrive gear is cut out, which really isn't necessary. All you need is a transmission that shifts down when you need it, not when you don't need it. Doesn't do much for fuel economy. I'm talking about city driving. We'll see if that works on the freeway driving. So at 65 miles per hour, it does drop down from 8th gear to 7th gear. How that affects fuel economy? Well, I'll just have to leave it in the comfort mode for this trip. Make sure I get the maximum fuel economy. For the rest of this trip, I'm going to take the vehicle out of comfort and sport mode and put it in custom mode. That way I'll have the steering in the sport setting, which will give me better control and high-speed stability. But the rest of the drivetrain will be in the comfort mode, so I'll stay in the highest gear possible for the best fuel economy. That seems to be the best compromise overall. Yeah, we'll see. Well, here you go. By keeping the transmission in the sport mode, we got 25. Keeping it in the comfort mode, 29 for an average of 27 mpg. We're going to take a third road trip, and as far as fuel economy goes, it means nothing. We're looking for performance to see how this compares to the BMW and Audi vehicles I've had on this road. And so far, I'm very impressed, especially with this engine. Very potent. I think we'll have to leave this car in the sport mode on this particular journey. If you watch my videos, you know what's coming up next. Where's my buddy? Freddy the Frog. When you're on this road, you have to stop and get his blessing for good luck, otherwise bad things can happen. So I think I've been blessed and we can get on our way. According to Road and Trek magazine, this vehicle can go around 165 miles per hour, if my memory is correct. We're not going to be doing that, but the high-speed stability is very good. At high speeds, there's a lot of wind noise around the mirrors. Other than that, this is a pretty quiet vehicle. It's on curved mountain roads like this where the paddle shifters come in handy, allowing you to choose the exact gear you need for any situation. This thing takes corners very good, by the way. This thing really moves. So we have a frog on one end of the road and a duck on this end. Okay, I said hello. More good luck for me. What is this strange creature on the road here? Yuck. Should have used the crosswalks, buddy. Now we're on Dead Man's Road, one of the most dangerous trails in the state. We've got rock slides, tight curves, deep canyons, and no guardrails. People fly over the edge all the time. It takes a while to find them. I don't think we're going to have a problem here. This car really likes sticking to the road. We've done about 125 miles of brisk driving around these corners and steep hills. I think it's time to give the car a rest and let the tires and brakes cool off. I stated earlier at the beginning of this trip I wasn't going to worry about fuel economy, still not, but just in case you're curious what we were getting. Here you go, 19.0. Not bad considering the brisk driving we were doing. The other performance cars I've driven on this road, the Mercedes-Benz AMG, Audi TT-RS, Mustang Bullitt, Lexus RCF, they were pretty close to this figure. By the way, I've been showing this car around town, and on the positive side, almost everybody thought it was gorgeous. On the negative side, they said they didn't want to buy one because they wouldn't want a Chrysler product. They think it's a Chrysler product because they see that emblem on the back that looks like the Chrysler 300 and 200. And I had to explain, no, it's not a Chrysler product. It's Korean. Again, you guys at Hyundai and Genesis, listen up. This emblem has to go away. Get rid of it. When you've got it in reverse and trying to maneuver around cactuses, rocks, and snakes, this camera system certainly comes in handy. We've got another 120 miles left to go, so let's do it. This is really a fun car. I'm enjoying myself. My, it's a long drop off. That's why you got to keep your eyes on the road, like I do. It was our goal to put 600 miles on this vehicle in 1 week. Looks like we've accomplished that. Time to wrap up this video and turn the car in. I really do like European sports sedans, particularly BMWs and Audis, but their prices are just insane. In this case, you have a vehicle, an excellent sports sedan that's just as good as the Audis and BMWs. Yeah, I said it, it's true. But a price that's far, far less. And an excellent 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. This is definitely one of the best sedans I've driven in years and worth every penny. If you're in the market for a compact sports sedan with excellent performance, give it a look. And as much as I like this car, I cannot stand this headless bird emblem. Get rid of it.